Chapter 6. Yay. Many times the needed solution is right before the traveler's eyes. If you cannot see it, the light of a torch, the lighting of a torch may reveal a previously hidden answer. Behold the power of the flame. At home, I look up Fairfax Psychiatric Hospital on my talking web browser. I learned Fairfax is an institution that's almost 200 years old and is located in Connecticut. What would Simi be doing all the way over there? It's nowhere near here. Does Dax even live in Connecticut? Or was he sent there? I do a search on the word Dax. I try spelling the name every possible way I can think of. D-A-X, D-A-K-X, D-A-C-K-X. Spelled the first way, I see a whole bunch of information about the German stock market and some more about a comedian named Dax Shepard. The comedian is in his 30s, so I doubt he's the Dax I'm looking for. Spelled D-A-K-S, I find out about London fashion designer and an infotech package called Data Analysis and Knowledge Spaces. On my final search, I learned D-A-C-K-S is a trendy slang word for track pants. I filed this bit of knowledge away for later. I wasn't really expecting to find out who Dax is, at least not without a last name. Next time he surfaces in a vision, and let's face it, there's definitely going to be a next time. I'll need to listen for more clues. Maybe if I put everything together, I'll be able to find him before he gets to Simi. Feeling the call to action, I create a new document on my computer and save it as information, hoping the nondescript title will keep my parents from opening it. I type up everything I know about Dax, the Dax Simi mystery so far. Normally, I would use my Dragon naturally speaking software for stuff like this, but I don't feel comfortable voicing the words of my mystery out loud. The last thing I need is for Mom to overhear and start worrying about me. "What are you doing?" Dad asks, entering my room and sinking down onto my bed. The worn mattress lets out a springy sigh. "Homework," I answer, slamming my laptop closed. Yikes, that was too close of a call. "Can we talk?" Dad runs his bare feet along the carpet. Static sparks cross the floor and hit my toes with a light tingling sensation, dulled somewhat by their travel. "Yeah, go ahead." "Good. Your mother sent me in to ask you what you want for your birthday next week." "Oh, nothing. I'm fine," I say, thankful Dad is not here to grill me about my problems again. I'm not ready to share. "You know, I can't bring that answer back to Mom. Try again." I turn around in my desk chair so I'm facing Dad and tap my chin with my finger. "How about new boots? I hear mine are a bit scuffed." "New boots? Are you sure you don't want something more fun? Like perhaps a video game or a pony or whatever kids like these days. A pony, Dad? Really? I shake my head. For a moment, Dad is back to his old, dorky self, if not a bit more charming than usual. I had really started to miss him lately. Inadvertently, my thoughts wander back to Dax. What must his father be like? What kind of father blames his son for something he didn't do and tries to send him away? Dad coughs, introducing a change in his voice. The accent is back. I mean it. You need to come up with something more interesting than boots. Perhaps your friend Dax has a good idea? Mom says you two are getting quite close. My head reels. How on earth would Dad know about Dax? I just found out about him. No one else should know. You know, Dad falters. Your friend Brady seems to also always have the latest trend of things. Maybe you should ask him for a few ideas. Brady is not my friend. I fume. You know that. Fine. Sorry. Dad stands to his feet and heads for the door. I'll tell Mom you want a stylish new pair of boots. And maybe a book. Sound good? Great. I fume, still angry at Dad for asserting that Brady and I are friends. As soon as he leaves, I point out my notes. I print out my notes on Dax and stuff them in my backpack, deleting the file from my computer. Brady? Come on. Even Dad should know better. It's not just that he thinks we're friends. It's that he obviously doesn't care enough to pay attention to my life. Out of everything, that's what hurts the most. Dax's mind forces itself into mine again the following afternoon while I'm sitting in a cramped bathroom stall, willing my bowels to empty before second and third hour classes. Between second, third hour classes. Bring in the patient. Patient. A deep, echoey voice commands. Someone scuffles out of the room, dragging feet across the floor. A cautious knock at the door comes a few moments later. Dax, this is Dr. Merton, the female scuffle walker says. Let's try to be a bit kinder than usual. The door closes, and she walks out, leaving the doctor alone with Dax. Dax sits in his chair with a thud and presses his fingernails into the wooden seat, creating a sound not unlike nails dragging across a chalkboard. Now, we both know why you're here. Dr. Merton says placidly. You might as well submit to treatment. Dax snorts and grins, grinding his teeth so loudly that even I can hear it. For a moment, it feels like I'm right inside of his head, inside his brain. As a minor, your parents decide whether or not you undergo treatment. Since they've already consented, treatment is inevitable. It would be so much easier for us all if you didn't spit on the nurses when they come to give you your injections. If you swallowed your pills like most of the other patients, if you behaved, I won't take anything. I'm not crazy, Dax says. I won't take anything. I'm not crazy, Dax says calmly. Too calmly. As he cracks his neck on either side. And how do I know you're not giving me poison instead of medicine? If you don't trust me, then I don't trust you. He snorts again and starts rocking the chair's 4 wooden legs from side to side. I've already explained we give you the medicine and the therapy to help control the hypomania, and the borderline and schizophrenia personality disorders, the doctor explains in a patient voice. I know. I don't know what any of that means. Dax is on his feet. His voice is coming from a place over my head. He's lost his forced calm and is bordering on panic. How can you say you've told me if everything you say is in code language? There's nothing wrong with me. God damn it. The whole room trembles. Books inch off their shelves and land on the floor. A picture frame slides down the wall and shatters. What's going on? An earthquake? The doctor asks in a feeble voice. There's nothing wrong with me, Dax thunders. Lightning strikes a tree, or at least that's what it sounds like. The electrical charge hanging in the air becomes overwhelming. My hair practically stands on end. There's a zipping noise, the sound of 1,000 tiny wood splinters breaking apart. The doc squeals as the door thrusts open. Several people rush in, all of them closing around Dax, clamoring around Dax. There's nothing wrong with me. Dax, enunciates. His temper retreats all of a sudden. Suddenly, the room settles to the state that it was in just moments ago, before all the rumbling began. The electricity is gone. I hear Dax arguing with a cluster of people, the sounds of their hands slapping to form the vice grips and force him out of the office. What happened? Dr. Merton asks. What happened? Dr. Merton asks, the sound of his voice growing distant. His breathing is so heavy that it's interfering with his speech. I don't know, someone answers. An earthquake wouldn't rip your desk in half. Perfectly down the middle. I just can't believe it. Dax laughs. Or maybe he cries under his breath and the whole scene disappears, leaving just me in the empty school restroom. The bell must have rung, meaning everyone else has already made their way to class. I sit in my stall for a long time, not even worried about missing algebra. I'm so shaken by what just happened that I can't even move. Somehow I know deep within my gut, Dax was responsible for the scene in the doctor's office. Earlier, I thought he was getting blamed for Simmy's death unfairly. But now, I know he's extremely dangerous. I shudder when I realize he must be gifted, too. After school, I race to Miss Teague's shop. And into the small back room. I fling my palm upon the table and wait. Maybe she can explain what's going on. She takes hold of my hand. absorbing all the information it contains. Had a bad day? She asks, in a way that sounds more like Shapri than herself. What? Of course I had a bad day. Didn't you see what happened with Dax? Yes. He is a very dangerous character. Obviously, so what do we do? What can we do? Now I know Simi doesn't stand a chance against Dax, and it's up to me to keep her away from him. Won't you excuse me for a second? Mystique asks, getting up and going into the main area of the shop. A moment later, the phone rings. Mystique comes back and closes the thick door between us. What is she doing? Traipsing about like nothing is the matter. This is urgent, and she seems almost bored with it. When she finally returns after several minutes have passed, I'm beyond angry. Why can't you take this seriously? Don't you care if Simi dies? I fume. Indeed, I am deeply concerned with the unfolding of events. Simi's mother was the one on the phone, and I couldn't allow her to become aware of our conversation. I needed to delay her arrival to the shop today so as to give you my full attention. Her explanation makes perfect sense. Of course, I don't want Simi to find all of this out. I can't begin to imagine how I would feel if I learned that my life could be cut short by a psychopath at any moment. You are right to be worried about the role Dax may play in Simi's future. Miss T continues. He has an unusually strong telekinetic gift, and without any training, I'd guess, there's no doubt he'll impact the world. He must decide whether to help or harm. This guy's evil. The stunt he pulled with the doctor's desk? I mean, who does that? I protest. Dax.
Messages. Now, Elizabeth Abel.
Dax is definitely not a good guy. No way. Not what he did. Miss T corrects. What he will do. What he might do. What he might do? I ask, hope creeping in. Wait, can we prevent all this from happening? I don't know, Mystique says. Two types of prophecies exist. Those that will happen no matter what, and those that can be prevented. We can't know which is which. Then what do we do? I ask, trying my best to stay calm, when what I really want to do is scream and shake Mystique until she gives me the answer I need. Since we can't know the difference, we must assume this, and your earlier visions of Dax are the kinds of predictions that can be stopped, and we must do all we can to prevent them. But Simi, I whimper, I can't let her die. You may not have a say in the matter. Destiny will decide, not you or me. Mystique resigns with a sigh, but we will do everything we can to save her. I'm too exhausted to speak anymore. I think about sweet Simi, the smell of an Almond Joy candy bar. She doesn't deserve this kind of end. Nobody does. Choked to death by some madman who finds amusement in sticking a tennis ball down her windpipe and forcing her to die a dog's death. I think about her sing-song voice, the magical feeling I get whenever she touches me. All of a sudden, my imagination of her, well, it's a combination of smells and sensations, actually. with my idea of what she might taste like thrown into the mix become much clearer, as if Simmy's sitting right there next to me. But she's not sitting. She's getting up. She's unbuckling her seatbelt and jumping out of her mother's SUV, closing the door softly behind her. She walks to the driver's side of the car, and her mother rolls down the window, letting the autumn air permeate the interior of the vehicle. I'll pick you up in 1 hour for your dentist appointment, her mother says. Okay, bye, Simmy says, pulling her dropping bag up higher on her shoulder with a shuffle of cloth. And Simran, her mother says. Learn well. Yes, Mummy, she says obediently. Mrs. Shergill rolls up her window and pulls away. Once the car is out of hearing range, Simmy walks. The wind lifts her long scarf into the air behind her, releasing the perfumed scent of vanilla as she strides toward her destination. I lose my image of Simmy and almost at once return to Miss Teague's shop. I begin to wonder where Simmy is going, if she's heading toward the place where Dax is, and what her mother meant when she said learn well. A subdued knock comes on the door outside of our inner sanctum. Enter, Miss Teague says, her voice shaking. The door opens, and beaded curtains pull apart with the familiar raining sound. Hope I'm not disturbing, Simmy says, as she comes into our intimate circle. Not at all. Hello, dear, Miss Teague says, letting out a slow exhale. I realize now this wasn't a vision. I was hearing what was going on outside the door. Seems I'm quick to assume everything is a vision these days. I smile to myself. Wait, didn't Miss Teague just talk on the phone to Simmy's mom and tell her not to come? She must have decided not to listen. I hope Simmy didn't hear what we were talking about. Before she entered, Simmy sits down on the shaggy area rug and pulls her legs up under her. Hi, Alex, she says. It seems everywhere I go, there you are. She laughs. Hey, Simmy, I say, trying to give off a light and happy air. I just hope you don't mind having me as your shadow. Actually, you were here first. I guess I'm your shadow. Or maybe we like the same things, I offer.
Facebook. Now. Facebook.
I can sense Miss Teague and Simmy look at each other and wonder if I'm intruding on something important. If you need to talk about something in private, I can head over to Sweet Blossoms for a little while, I say as I stand up to leave. I could just come back in an hour when you're heading out to your dentist appointment. It's no trouble. I want to be polite to Simmy, but I also can't imagine leaving this conversation half finished and having to go to bed worrying about what Dax was up to and wondering what I can do to stop him. I need Miss Teague to tell me what to do. And anyway, this is all of... Anyway, this is all for Simmy's benefit. If she knew, I'm sure she'd thank me. What did you say? Simmy asked, sounding tenser than usual. You're going to the dentist in a little bit, right? I pick up my cane from the floor and grasp it before me. I can come back later, no problem. But Alex, she pauses, how do you know that I was going to the dentist? Semi-seriousness over something as insignificant as a dentist appointment puzzles me. I heard you just now, I explain. Before you came in, your mom said she was going to pick you up in an hour. Neither Simi or Miss Teak say anything, so I keep talking out of nervousness. I wasn't eavesdropping or anything. You were just outside the door. I faltered. Miss Teak heard too. Miss Teak stares at me intently. I feel her eyes digging into my skull. I didn't hear anything, Alex. I have this room hard-proofed to protect my clients' secrets. Those outside don't hear those in here, and those out there don't hear those in here. What? That's ridiculous, I say. I heard Simi and her mom clear as day. You better ask for a refund on your soundproofing material because it's seeming not to work very well. Both Simi and Miss Teak are staring at me now. I can feel it. There's a saturated silence. After a few soundless moments, Miss Teak breaks the quiet. Of course. What? I ask. You've been blessed with more than one gift, Alex, she says. I feel Miss Teak's gaze leave me as if to look at Simi. What information are they passing to each other without me knowing? There are two kinds of second sight. You seem to have possessed the abilities in both. Two kinds? The future and what else? Past? I ask, wondering what Simi thinks about all of this. I hoped she would never find out, but gifted seems like a much better explanation than mentally unstable. Not the past, Miss Teak explains, but the present. That doesn't make sense, I say, shaking my head. What's so special about being able to see the present? Most people... Simi swallows hard, but otherwise remains quiet. It's called remote viewing, Miss Teak says. One blessed with these gifts can view whatever is happening in the distant places without having to physically be there. So 10 feet away counts as a distant place? I ask with complete skepticism. It's a start. Perhaps, if you try, you can see farther. This new gift will be so much more useful in dealing with the effects of your first, she says, drumming her fingertips on the table. I think for a moment about understanding what she's trying to tell me. If I learn how to control my remote viewing, I could figure out what Dax is up to. I could stop him before my visions of the future come true. Simi pulls herself up to her feet and comes to stand before me. You're psychic? Is this true? I always assumed, but I never knew for sure. I sigh. There goes the last hope I have with a girl. How could I expect her to accept a psychic freak as her boyfriend? It's too weird. Yeah, I guess I am, I admit, dropping my head toward my chin so that it's resting on my chest. Really? Simi asks again, shifting her gaze toward Miss Teak. Really? Miss Teak affirms. She sounds happy, as if she's enjoying my embarrassment. Alex, that's great, Simi says, placing a hand on each of my shoulders and filling me with the wonderful, sparkling emotion that only close contact with a girl that you have a crush on can bring. I lift my eyes to meet hers. My parents are always telling me how I wear my emotions on my face. I hope it's true as I try to show Simi what I'm feeling. I can't believe that she's able to accept me, unusual quirks and all. It's great, Simi repeats with gusto, because I'm gifted too. Now I can train the two of you together. This will save me so much time, Mystique says, with an uncharacteristically upbeat tone. So, Simi, I ask, you can see the future too? Part of me wonders if she's seen what I've seen, but mostly I'm thinking about how lucky I am to have this in common with her. No, nothing like that, she says, pulling a chair from the next room into the inner sanctuary so the three of us can all sit together at the table. So, then what is your gift? I ask, finally allowing myself to embrace the terminology Mystique has been teaching me, believing whatever it is may actually be a gift. I'm a clairsentient, she says matter-of-factly. Ah, clairsentient. I've no idea what that is. I decide it's more important to understand her gift than to try to act like I already know what it is. A clairsentient, Simi repeats. I'm a psychic feeler. A feeler as in touch? Or a feeler as in feelings, I ask. Both actually, but I'm not developed emotionally. I'm more developed emotionally. She laughs. So what can you do? Well, I have a knack for sensing other people's emotions through manipulating and for manipulating them however I like. It all begins to make sense to me now. So whenever you touch me, that feeling that you're using, that's you using your gifts on me? Blood rushes to my face. God, I hope I'm not blushing. Well, I try. Those times you've been very upset, I have tried to use my gifts to make you more relaxed. Did it work? Simi asks hopefully. Yeah, it totally did, I say, feeling a rush of excitement. Simi is the coolest girl ever. What else can you do? That's it for now, Simi says, dragging her fingernails along the velvety patch in the middle of the table. Mummy has me studying with Mystique after school to help me develop my gifts. When I become stronger, I just hope that I'll be able to heal. To heal? Wait, the gifts become stronger? Yes, Mystique answers with Simi. With training that are bound to grow until your full potential is realized. So I might get stronger too? Yes, you might. In fact, I expect you will. Wow, I'm going to get even more powerful? Not a loser anymore. I can do anything. I'm a superhero. A current of hot air lifts me so that I can fly. I'm really something special, something great. Brady Evans can never be as awesome as me again. I smile a huge smile. I imagine Simi swooning at the sight of me, and all my untapped on my untapped glory. Mystique bragging to the world that she was the one to train me, to help me achieve all these to achieve such unrivaled greatness. Simi's thumb traces the edge of my wrist. She's holding my hand. Of course she's falling for my charm already, just as I knew she would. She takes her hand away and laughs at me. "Feeling comforted much?" she asks. With the removal of her hand, I go back to my usual self and realize Simi was messing with my emotions. She's made me both calm and confident in turns. I wonder what else she can do. Is my crush on her real, or has she just been manipulating me to do that the whole time using her gifts? I listen to the sound of her laughter beside me and decide it doesn't matter.